off to Smithfield, just getting some stuff for Christmas, some bubbly, which is on special at Dan Murphy's. I was going to get a slightly cheaper one than First Choice, which I'd had last year. It was quite a good drop, very good value. So, but I just don't want to go all the way down there. So I decided to just make it a local run, and I could do with some champagne flutes, but they don't seem to sell them in the supermarket, so I might just have a look around in Smithfield. So another thing is, that's a new dog. God, there's plenty of dogs around. I saw the bus just go down before, so at least I know that's not going to be an issue. No word of them striking this week anyway. I did shoot footage of me going down to Trinity Beach post office to get my visa organised, but none of it came out on my editing suite. I could watch the clips individually and I couldn't work out what was going on, but what had happened is that this particular camera had somehow switched to a frame rate from about 30 frames per second up to about 250 something frames per second. So I couldn't actually watch the stuff when I transferred it to the editing suite. Very strange. So that was lost footage, I think. Yeah, interesting place. There's people wandering down the street. I think they're running some sort of business or something. You've got a trolley there with a whole lot of equipment. Could be a cleaning business or something. Not quite sure. Anyway, so basically all that footage I shot, I can't put on the editing suite. I can watch it, but I can't put on the editing suite. Maybe I can convert them, but I don't know if I could be bothered. But it's just one of the problems with this particular camera. I've never had this issue with the GoPro. So I will say this is a big negative for the DJI. And I wonder if it's just me or other people have encountered the same thing. So what I've got to do is whenever I turn on the camera, just double check that that things haven't been altered in any of the settings, because it can happen quite easily. Too easily in my opinion. Yeah, so I've got Christmas coming up in only around 7 to 8 days, so it's pretty close. It's good I'm going to a friend's place. He's going to have some people around, so that'll be good. I've got to cook up a turkey. I was going to do a cooking with Doug on making one of my salads, but I forgot all about it. I remembered after I'd actually made the salad, but because someone mentioned to me I should do another segment of that. And why not? If there's any interest in it, I'll do it. Pretty chockers here at Smithfield. I just got out of the Dan Murphy. Normally it's an easy process just picking up my beefeater. I ordered some champagne and beefeater this time. Boy, there were a lot of orders there for pickup. I could see how different it was. They were pretty flat chat, but they've got a terrible invoicing system, because they always seem to have problems finding my order, and I don't know. It's much faster normally, I'll give you that, but they still have difficulties many times finding my order. And this time the girl just didn't have a clue. I had to get some guy to help her and ask what name it was under. It's always been under the same name. I haven't changed anything. And prior to that, I went to the chemist, and I've never seen such a long line for prescriptions. I mean, I can understand people lining up for Christmas stuff, but getting their prescriptions, I mean, why should that change? I guess there's just more people here. It's just busier generally. The bus was pretty busy too, so it's just going to get worse next week. You know, my suggestion is get out of the way ASAP before all this crap just builds up. And it's super busy here. The checkout girl asked me if I wanted to hand her my bag so she could pack it, and I said, "Oh, that's okay, I'll do it myself." And she took offence. Said, "Don't you think I'd be good at doing it?" And I just said, "No, I've got my own system," which is true. I've just got my own system. It's not an issue. I appreciate when they do help me do it, but I have had situations where some people will pack up bags and they just don't understand basic physics. Like, you always put the heaviest stuff down the bottom. I always try to put the cold stuff all together, so it sort of helps keep it all cold. Just, you know, sort of basic stuff, but some people just don't get it. So I've got no idea what time it is, so I suppose there's no point me doing anything until I check the actual time. And then I'll know where I stand. Christmas is very stressful for a lot of people. Yeah, I think I've got about 15 minutes, no need to rush. So, pretty good timing overall. Probably the Palm Beach bus will come next. It's actually supposed to be the vaccine quarantine day, noisy trucks. So I haven't noticed any difference here, but apparently now we're going to discriminate against anybody who hasn't been vaccinated. So sort of shades of what happened in Germany against certain minorities in the 30s, maybe. Not a good situation. The health minister here is quite aghast that some businesses aren't happy about the situation. Well, I think maybe she's living in a different parallel universe to a lot of people. I'm hoping that this is an issue where people do get upset about, because these vaccine mandates discriminating against people, it's pretty bad, I think. As you can hear in the background, the green waste collection is out in force. It's about 8:45 in the morning, and I'm going to be heading off to Smithfield. I have to go to Smithfield because I forgot to pick up my medication last time. I went to the chemist, gave him the script, then sort of remembered, yeah, I better go and pick that up after I do my supermarket shopping, and then I forgot. And so I have to now go. That was last Friday. Now I have to go on Tuesday to pick up my meds. So dummy I am. And now, of course, I'll have to wear the mask because we've got a mask mandate that kicked in, I think, on Saturday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I've bought myself a new mask. Got one sent through eBay. It's a lot better than the crap that I've been using, the one I just used to stop the dust, which is just a flat mask. This one's got a little bit of wire in it, so there's actually a bit of space where you breathe, and that makes a big difference for comfort. So you don't have to wear masks when you're out like this, thank God. But I just think the whole thing's ridiculous, and we're getting becoming such a controlled society. Politicians are absolutely drunk with power these days. It's a real concern. Another fabulous fact I found is I was meant to go to Lynn's place on Christmas Day, and I was intending to catch the bus. I assumed the buses would have like holiday services. No, I checked their website today. TransLink provide no bus services on Christmas Day. I've never struck that anywhere before. Normally what they would do on New Year's and Christmas Day, you'd get free public transport if you're in Melbourne, for instance. So that really sucks. So just no way of me getting down there. She'd probably come all the way here and pick me up, but I feel guilty about that. It's a long journey. We're a fair distance from one another. So that's really bad. God almighty, would it kill them to have a skeleton service? Even if they had one that was cut down from a public holiday schedule, they could have one that's sort of just a couple of services in the morning and the afternoon. It's better than nothing, which is what they're giving us now. And maybe it's an indication how strong the union is up here. Maybe that's part of this thing. It's part of a union agreement, because it certainly wasn't that bad in Melbourne, but maybe capital cities compared to provincial areas, it's like that. I wonder if there's services down in southeastern Queensland. I didn't check that. I bet you have a sneaking suspicion that there probably is the same as in on a public holiday, but only guessing on that one. Very warm day. Yeah, just walking down here. Just summer is pretty brutal up here, so you don't want to be doing too much walking or exertion. I haven't heard from the plumber yet about the flood I've got in the front yard. Got to get that sorted too. I better give him an SMS and see if I can get some action. It's probably flat chat, or he might be closed before Christmas, who knows. Anyway, hopefully the bus won't be too long. Oh well, that was an interesting trip. I made an absolute idiot myself. I actually I could have switched to the 110 bus, but as it turned out, I just sat my fat ass and didn't think, and it gets a more direct route to the shopping centre, so would have saved me about 20 minutes in travel. It doesn't matter. Got all my shopping done. Some woman tapped me on the shoulder thinking I was someone else, and so I thought it was funny. I just sort of lowered my mask so she could sort of see me, I guess. So, yeah, that's probably one of those unintended consequences of wearing these stupid damn things. Got myself some champagne flutes at Kmart, only $4.50 for a pack of 4, so they're not exactly the highest quality. See how that goes. Yeah, I just got my shopping done at Woolies. I noticed there were a few people not wearing masks, so that was sort of encouraging in a way. So, be buggered if we're going to wear them outside. Don't need to, so but some people are real, yeah, they just go crazy, or they just wear them for any reason. I seem to love the control, but not me, mate. Anyway, I got my shopping done and everything's right, and I've just got to wait for the bus, and everything should be fine. Actually, some guy got on the bus, everybody wore masks on the bus except for one guy had the mask below his nose, which is pretty useless. If you're going to wear the bloody things, wear it properly. But yeah, apart from that, it's a pretty warm day. I wouldn't want to be walking anywhere. I saw a couple of people bike riding in Trinity Park on the way here. Thank God. I wouldn't be doing anything physical at the moment. There's a few people inside the mall weren't wearing masks I initially walked into, so not everybody's doing it, which is sort of nice to see. A bit of the old Queensland spirit still around. Still can't believe that the bus line doesn't provide any services on Christmas Day. That is ridiculous. That really is just pathetic. But anyway, what can you do? Anyway, just waiting for the bus. Should be another 5-10 minutes, and get back home, and then I'll be mask free for until the New Year's, I guess. Well, unless I have to do a bus trip next week, we'll see. Right, well, that bus trip is over and done with, and had a weird conclusion in that a couple got on in Poolwood Road, which is only about 3 or 4 stops from the end of the bus line, so God knows where they were going. If they wanted to go up to the shops, they could have just walked directly behind the opposite direction, and they would have got there faster, probably. Bit strange. It's quite blowy at the moment, and there's quite a lot of threatening weather there. There's a few Christmas decorations around, but not much. That's one of the rarities. There's someone's gone a little bit of effort there. I like these fire trees, they're nice. I assume that's what they're called. There's quite a few of them up here. Anyway, that was a strange trip back, and yeah, really blowy. The audio won't be great. It's I guess we call this a cool change maybe in Melbourne. It seems to be the equivalent up here, because there's grey clouds and quite a bit of wind. I don't think I'd really enjoy being on a plane having to wear my new mask. I just road tested it on this trip. It's better than the other masks, but they're not great. They're not really comfortable. The only way I can get any great comfort with those things is if it's just sitting right, just with the bottom of my nose, so that I can expel a bit of hot air. So there's enough of a gap in the actual mask to make it a little more comfortable, but it's not a great option. And I'd hate to think what it'd be like on, say, a 14-hour flight from London to Bangkok, for instance. Well, you can't do that now with British Airways because they've just basically pulled the whole route, which is a pretty radical move, I think. Not quite sure why they've just cancelled all the flights, but they have. Well, it's a bit of an overcast day today. Here's the what my own homegrown capsicum seeds have done after about, I don't know, about 2 or 3 weeks they've been in there. They're not huge, but they look healthy. And over there's the actual capsicums that are producing a bit of fruit. Now, you know, I had a bit of a blow there with the not having any bus service on Christmas Day. That really stuffed me up. It is really a travel lifeline for this area for me. But when I got home, I got another kick in the guts to some degree, although not a bad one in a way, because it makes my decision regarding the trip to Thailand even easier. I got a message from the Thai embassy in Canberra, and they were saying that they were asking for the $60 visa fee, which I'd actually included in my passport. I'd inserted it in the actual passport itself, the cash, because they don't accept credit card payment. I mean, it's bizarre. I mean, the only place I know of that doesn't accept credit card payment. So I've replied to them telling them that I've actually inserted cash into the actual passport itself. I haven't heard back from them. If I'm presuming that they've lost it or someone's nicked it, and if that's the case, well, that's basically the straw that's broken the camel's back, because on top of everything, there's problems with Thailand itself with what they're going to do with the PCR test, and the one night of quarantine could actually extend to 7 nights, the way they're talking, and that will just be devastating. Here's a bit of interspersed good news. Those are the shoots for the ginger plant that I planted, which is right in the centre there, the bulb. And on either end there, you can see there's a couple of healthy-looking shoots that have come up. It took a while. It took much longer than I expected, well in excess of 2 weeks, but they're growing on a daily basis. It will take 8 months for ginger to basically mature, the bulbs to grow underneath that soil for me to harvest them. So it's a long-term project. Quite a slow-growing plant, but at least it's got life in it, and that's the good thing. I've got something over here that looks to me like it could be a jacaranda or something, this plant here. I don't know what it is. I don't recall actually planting it, but who knows? Who knows? I'm thinking of actually putting it in the back here. Now, my neighbour threw over, I think it's called the lady palms, I think they're called, these ones here. She threw it over the back fence here, and all the roots were quite dry. So I've planted it yesterday. I've given it a lot of water, put mulch over the top. I'll just keep saturating with water. You never know, it might revive. If it dies, I'll put something else in that mound. But these are this is the foliage from it. It didn't look like it was in 100% good health when she threw it over. So I don't know what chance it has of reviving. You just never know. If I keep throwing enough water at it, anything could happen, I guess. but you can see I've got a lot of palm fronds to get rid of. There's a really big pile here, and I'm starting to work on this pile now. I've cleared out the one over there to a large extent, so that's something, and I'm still getting more down there, but they're smaller, so not quite as bad to deal with. Yeah, I thought it was going to be pissing down rain when I got back on the bus, but it didn't rain. It just washed over. It was quite windy. It's not so windy now. Hard to work out this weather. Now, you see all these holes in the soil here. I wonder if that is termites that's caused that, or it's just that the soil's so dry that's how it dries out. I'm not sure, because when I had the building inspector go through, he found a whole lot of termites, and there were definitely termites in the palm trees in the front. After when they cut them down, there were a stack of them running over the place, so it's a good thing to get rid of them, those trees in the front. There aren't any trees really that close to the house down the back, so maybe that was a good move. But as you can see, the rubber tree is looking pretty damn healthy. Now, I wanted to get the people who actually poisoned this tree to come out and get rid of all these roots, and they said they can do it, but they said they'd book me in for a job, but I haven't heard back from them. Now, it could be this time of year. When it comes to tradies, it can be a real battle here to get people to come out. Good news is I actually finally got onto the plumber who was recommended Seymour Plumbing in Smithfield. They got good reviews, and I'd left a message on his web page on Friday, and I hadn't heard back from him today on Tuesday. So what I did was I sent him a text message on my phone, an SMS, and he got back to me, and he just said, yeah, I can have a look at it, but it'll have to be after Christmas. And I mean, if he's a decent plumber, you'd expect him to be flat out and not be able to do anything until then anyway. That doesn't worry me. In a way, it's a good sign. So yeah, I've got myself a plumber turning up Thursday week after Christmas, so that's good. So that's basically an update of what's been happening. Not a super exciting life to talk about. I'm just going through the same agony with this Thai trip that many other travellers are going through too. Reevaluating. I know that there's one guy there, Steady Eddie. He hasn't booked with British Airways, so his flight hasn't been cancelled. He's got a flight from Heathrow to Bangkok. I don't envy him having to wear a mask for that long on such a long haul trip, but it appears as if he's going to go ahead with it, and he's fairly stoic about the whole thing, and he knows that he could be hit with lockdown, quarantine requests getting there and getting back, but he's going to be staying in Asia, Southeast Asia for 3 months, and I think you need to make it a long-term trip to make it worthwhile. Even Laos apparently opened up their borders, but again, very tentative, at the same as Vietnam. They're going to do it from the 1st of January with just tour groups only, and I think Vietnam's already gone through that phase, and they'll be moving to their next phase in the new year. I'd have to check the actual dates on that. I'm just guessing on that one, but they appear to be following the same pattern that Vietnam followed. So first off, just package tours, and then individual travellers to isolated areas and having to jump through a few hoops. Lots of hoops to jump through to travel, and I don't know whether it's worth it nowadays, unfortunately. At least I can wander down the beach without having to wear a mask, so that's nice, and I might just do that to Savo. It'd be good, especially seeing it's not raining. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you, or entertainment or whatever, and either do that or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great.